In 1776, the land that would later be known as the United States of America was still under the control of Britain, the most powerful empire of that era. The people living in the colonies worked the land, ran small businesses, and paid heavy taxes, yet they had no real voices in how they were governed. Decisions about their lives were made thousands of miles away by a king who had never walked their streets. Over time, frustration turned into courage. Ordinary people, primitive soldiers, began to believe that freedom was worth fighting for. They wanted the right to make their own laws and shape their own future. This idea was dangerous because challenging Britain meant challenging an empire with a massive army and navy. On July 4, 1776, colonial leaders took a historic risk by signing the Declaration of Independence. With one document, they announced that they would no longer live under British rule. It was not just a statement, it was a promise, backed by sacrifice. If they lost, they would be punished as traitors. War followed. Belief in freedom kept them united. Against all expectations, the colonies survived, won their independence, and formed a new nation. That single moment in 1776 marked the birth of a country that would one day change the world. In the 1800s, the United States of America entered a new phase of its story, one built on industry, railways, and factories. The young nation was no longer fighting just to survive. It was learning fast. Small towns began to turn into busy cities. Smoke rose from factory chimneys, and the sound of machines replaced the quiet of farms. Railways became the veins of the country. Steel tracks stretched from the east to the west, connecting people, goods, and ideas like never before. Farmers could now send their crops far away, and factories could receive raw materials quickly. Trains carried workers, families, and dreams across long distances, helping the nation expand at an unbelievable speed. Factories produced weapons and machines. Millions of immigrants arrived from Europe, looking for work and a better life. They worked long hours in difficult conditions, but their labor powered the American economy. Cities like New York and Chicago grew rapidly, becoming centers of trade and innovation. This industrial boom changed America forever. Wealth increased, technology advanced, and production reached levels the world had never seen. By the end of the 1800s, America was no longer just a new nation, it was an industrial force. These railways and factories laid the foundation for America's rise as a global power in the years to come. Between 1861 and 1865, the United States of America was torn apart by its most painful internal conflict, the Civil War. The nation was divided between the North and the South over issues of slavery, power, and the future of the country. Families were split, cities were destroyed, and hundreds of thousands of lives were lost. It was a war not against a foreign enemy, but against itself. The fighting was brutal and long. Soldiers marched through mud and blood, unsure if the country they were dying for would even survive. The economy suffered, and hope seemed distant. Yet through this suffering, a lesson was learned. The nation could not exist half free and half divided. When the war ended in 1865, the country began a slow process of healing. Slavery abolished and became stronger than ever before. The federal government gained more authority, helping to bring stability and order. Railways were rebuilt, industries expanded, and the economy slowly recovered. Though the scars of the war remained, the United States emerged more united and resilient. The Civil War proved that the nation could survive even in its darkest moment. From that struggle, America came out stronger, more centralized, and prepared to face future challenges on its path toward becoming a world power. Between 1914 and 1918, the world was shaken by World War I. At first, the United States of America stayed away from the fighting, watching Europe exhaust itself in a brutal and costly war. While old empires were being destroyed, America's factories continued to run, supplying food, weapons, to the Allies. Fresh soldiers, modern equipment, and strong financial support shifted the balance. American troops arrived when many European armies were tired and broken. Their presence gave new hope and strength to the Allied forces. Within a year, the war came to an end. When the fighting stopped in 1918, Europe was devastated. Cities were in ruins, economies were broken, and millions of lives had been lost. America, however, stood in a very different position. Its land was untouched by war, its industries were stronger than ever, and it had become the world's biggest lender. For the first time, the United States stepped onto the global stage as a major power. It now had influence not only through military strength, but through money, production, and diplomacy. World War I marked the moment when America began moving from a growing nation to a global power whose decisions could shape international events. Between 1939 and 1945, World War II pushed the world into chaos, destruction, and fear. At first, the United States of America tried to stay out of the conflict, while Europe and Asia burned under powerful dictators. But everything changed after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. In one moment, America was full of the unmatched speed and unity. Factories that once made cars began producing tanks, planes, and weapons. Millions of men and women joined the military or worked day and night to support the war effort. America fought on two major fronts, against Nazi Germany in Europe and Imperial Japan in the Pacific. American soldiers landed on beaches, fought in frozen forests, and crossed oceans to stop aggressive empires. The cost was enormous, but the determination was stronger. By 1945, Germany and Japan were defeated. The war ended, but the world was forever changed. While much of Europe and Asia lay in ruins, America emerged stronger than ever. Its economy was booming, its military was unmatched, and its influence stretched across the globe. After World War II, the United States was no longer just a powerful country. It became the world's leader, shaping global politics, security, and the future of international order. In 19, the world entered a tense period known as the Cold War, where power was measured not only by battles, but by science, space, and military strength. The United States of America faced its greatest rival, the Soviet Union, in a global struggle for influence. It was a war without direct fighting, but filled with fear, competition, and constant pressure. Both sides raced to build stronger weapons, including nuclear arms, which could destroy the world. At the same time, science became a battlefield. America invested heavily in research, technology, and education. This focus led to major breakthroughs in medicine, computers, and communication. The competition reached the skies during the space race. When America landed humans on the moon in 1969, it sent a powerful message to the world about its technological strength and ambition. This achievement was not just about space, it was about leadership and innovation. Militarily, the United States built alliances across Europe and Asia, expanding its global presence. Bases, aircraft carriers, and advanced weapons systems strengthened its position. By the time the Cold War ended in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed and America stood ahead in science, space, and military power. This era firmly established the United States as the world's dominant superpower. In 1991, the world witnessed a historic collapse. The Soviet Union, which had challenged American power for decades, officially broke apart. With this event, the long Cold War came to an end. For the first time in modern history, States of America stood alone at the top of global power without any equal rival. The fall of the USSR left many countries politically and economically weak. America, however, was strong on every front. Its military had global reach, its economy was the largest in the world, and its technology was advancing faster than anyone else's. Nations now look to Washington for leadership, protection, and economic partnership. The US dollar became the world's most trusted currency, and American institutions shaped global trade and finance. Hollywood, music, and media spread American influence into homes across the globe. Even countries that disagreed with America could not ignore its power. In this new world order, the United States became the #1 superpower, able to influence wars, peace talks. The year 1990 marked a turning point where global power became unipolar, and America's decisions began to shape the direction of the entire world more than ever before. Between 2000 and digital age, and while the United States of America stood at its center, the internet, once a small network, became a global force, changing how people worked, communicated, and lived. American companies were leading this revolution, turning ideas into tools the whole world depended on. Tech giants rose rapidly. Search engines helped people find information in seconds. Social media connected millions across borders. Online platforms changed business forever. Innovation moved fast, and Silicon Valley became the heart of global technology. The internet gave America not just economic power, but influence over how the modern world functioned. At the same time, the US dollar strengthened its dominance. Even during global uncertainty, countries trusted the dollar for trade, savings, and oil deals. When the financial crisis hit in 2008, the world still looked to American banks, policies, and institutions for stability. This showed how deeply the dollar controlled the global economy. Technology and money worked together. American apps, software, and digital services spread worldwide, while the dollar remained the backbone of international trade. By 2010, America didn't just it ruled through screens, servers, and currency, shaping the digital and financial future of the world. Between 2010 and 2020, the United States of America strengthened its global dominance through a powerful combination of military strength, economic influence, and media control. While the world became more connected, America remained at the center of global decision-making. Militarily, the United States maintained the world's most advanced armed forces. Its bases were spread across multiple continents, and its Navy controlled key oceans. Advanced drones, stealth aircraft, and intelligence systems gave America unmatched reach and responsive power. No major global conflict could be discussed without U.S. involvement. Economically, America continued to lead global markets. Major corporations influence industries worldwide, from technology and finance to energy and entertainment. Decisions made in U.S. markets affected currencies, jobs, and investments across the globe. Even rival nations closely watched America's economic moves. Media and culture became another powerful weapon. Hollywood films, TV shows, news networks, and social media platforms shaped global opinions and trends. American narratives reached billions of people daily, influencing how events were seen and understood. By 2020, America's power was not limited to armies or money alone. It controlled attention, information, and influence, making it one of the most dominant forces in modern history. By 2025, the United States of America remains one of the world's strongest economic and military powers, despite growing competition and global challenges. The world has changed, but America's influence continues to shape global direction. Economically, the United States still leads in innovation, finance, and trade. Its companies dominate technology, artificial intelligence, defense, entertainment, and global markets. The US dollar remains the backbone of international trade and reserves, giving America unmatched financial leverage. Even when the global economy slows, decisions made in the US continue to affect every major market. Militarily, America maintains the most advanced and experienced armed forces in the world. Its global network of bases, powerful navy, air superiority, and cutting-edge technology ensure rapid response anywhere on the planet. No other country matches its combination of reach, resources, and alliances. Beyond money and weapons, America also leads through research, education, and global influence. Universities, media, and innovation hubs attract talent from every corner of the world, and 2025's power is no longer uncontested. But it remains unmatched in scale. Through economy, military, and global influence, the United States continues to stand at the center of world power.